is something that I've kind of got a bit more familiar with a lot of bartenders, especially over the last year, which is, a lot of people consider us bartenders to be very social and extroverted personalities, which I am quite an extrovert myself, which means, I gain energy from being around people, and introverts lose energy being around people. And it's funny how a lot of bartenders are actually quite introverted and they have to deal with a lot of anxieties of having just to deal with people. So I try to ask you, like, because you do consider yourself to be quite an anxious and introverted person. So how do you kind of really deal with that?
The thing how I actually dealt with it is like I tried to get my focus on the fact that I wanted to deliver excellent cocktails, which I'm not a mixologist. You give me a recipe or a menu to follow, I want to put it into detail. I want to be like the garnish needs to be really good, the composition needs to be really good. I just wanted to be very strict when it came to me as a bartender managing the bar. It would be orderly. It could be messy, but I would like fix it straight away. It's like some type of OCD type thing that I was dealing with to cope with the anxiety that I was having. I had moments where um, people would try to talk to me, and I just didn't felt comfortable with it. And people notice. That's the thing with an introvert. I have conversations, and sometimes it just go very smoothly, and I don't have any issues with that. But I have other conversations where I'm like, what the fuck am I even saying? You know what I mean? So I think it builds up over time. It's something you just got to push through. I've had 5 years of battling my anxiety, and from point A to now, let's say the present day being point B, I've had that I needed to overcome to be where I'm at. People perceive me on social media as a very extroverted person because I'm so passionate about what I do. Behind the bar, I'm more like I'm on this side of the bar, you're on that side of the bar, but that doesn't mean there will be no conversation. I know as a bartender, I have to do the things that I have to do. And like you say, for me, it's like getting a soda out of a how do you call these things in English?
Oh,
Uh,
fridge.
getting a soda out of the machine, like put in a coin. Like I would like
Yeah, yeah,
every time I have a conversation, would put like a coin into the machine, receive the conversation,
yeah,
I get the conversation going, expend the coin. I have 5 coins for the, let's say I have 5 coins for the entire evening. I expend the coin.
yeah.
By the end of the evening, the night is over, the shift is over. I don't have any coins left. I'm depleted of energy. That's how it feels for me. But as long as I'm on the job, what is necessary for me as a bartender. I think that also made me to put it that way, like it made me a bartender that wants to be me. I think a lot of times when I was working in the bar, I didn't felt like I could be myself, where either because I don't come across like a very, very confident person behind the bar,
Yeah.
firstly. So most of the time people would doubt my experiences or the things that I've learned, etc. Whether I'm certified or not, it wouldn't really matter. They would just be like, oh, you have a couple of years of experience, but then they would ask me questions about like making menus and stuff like that. Ask that information, but then not implement anything. And I felt like really bad about that. It didn't really help on the anxiety part because I was just like, yo, I know that I can do this stuff, but it just doesn't radiate from me like some extroverts do. They'd be like, oh, they're all over the place and people really connect with them, which gives them an edge. But towards the service, I think whether it's an introvert or an extrovert on that level is the same. The service needs to be really
Yeah,
good. Whether
100%.
whether you are a chatterbox or not, it doesn't really matter. The server needs to be on point. If you're just very professional with it and you're like, enjoy your drink, have a good day, like enjoy yourself, and you just tend to go back to the bar or whatever, or they're sitting at the bar, or you're a chatterbox and you'll be like having this entire conversation about whatever. I think in the end, it all comes down to how they perceive you as a bartender. You need to be feeling yourself, and the client will perceive you as that specific person. It will give you that thing that makes you to them,
Yeah.
to the client.
No, I think that's a very, very interesting point. I'll tell you what, the way you said as well about the coins, which is kind of like your energy marks. That's very, very interesting to hear because I've known a lot of people that quite like that as well. And, I've worked with the most extroverted and introverted, but they kind of, like you say, as long as the service is there, it doesn't really make a big difference. And I think we're always quite very introverted when we start like a new job, for example. So I remember like when I joined my first cocktail bar, and the manager working there used to go to the restaurant where I was working and just get coffee. And I asked him just to see how I was working and how I can improve. And he's watching me work. And, I was like my first day, so I'm very shy. I'm not really talking to anyone. And
Yeah.
we went for a drink afterwards, and I was like, "Okay, so what do you think? Like, what can I improve on?" And he went to me. He's like, "Well, the way you're working behind the bar, I didn't see an issue with it. The thing you need is confidence." And it's interesting because the confidence he was talking about wasn't the confidence to be loud and just talk and talk and talk. It's just having confidence in what you're doing. It's grabbing the shaker with like confidence. It's shaking the cocktail with confidence. And,
Mm.
you could be introverted or extroverted doing it. So I think that's also quite an important step you need to go through. And I think when as well, with our anxieties, like we mentioned previously, I get my anxieties really come from thinking I didn't do a good job. And when it when you do get praise, and I don't know if you feel the same, but right now, before when I started, I used to be quite I'm trying to find the right words. Like I wanted to get praise for the job I done because I wouldn't get much praise for when I started in bartending. And I kind of was always dying to hear someone saying to me that I'd done a good job. And now when I kind of get it, and like I've had people come, "Oh, you're the best manager I've ever worked with," or you kind of don't know how to react to it. And I
Mm.
do kind of get this, I don't know, it's this weird feeling you get. I mean, it's nice to hear it, but you just don't know how to react to it. But I think it's also depends on what you're getting complimented on. So if someone's going to give me a compliment about my flair, it's like, well, that's because you haven't seen Flair Bartenders. But yeah, kind of have like our anxieties at work, and it is very difficult. And I think also when I talk to a lot of people that like you and me, we kind of found of what we would love to do for the rest of our lives. And when you meet a lot of people that are still in their 20s, they could be in their 30s or even 40s, and they still don't know what they want to do in their lives, which is absolutely fine. Like everyone's got their own time for things, but sometimes people think that you wake up, you want to be a bartender, you want to wake up at 7 a.m. and do this. But in my experiences, not really the whole time. I remember when sometimes I would be working in a bar and it's something that I did want to do, but I didn't have much motivation to do it at times. So there'll be times I remember I used to just like get my headphones and then put on my phone motivational videos, just to kind of pump me up to do this. And I think sometimes when people do discuss and they talk about their experiences, some of them can be true, but a lot of times it's like I hear people say, and it's like, yeah, I always wanted to do this, and I was focused 100%, and I was doing this until 5 in the morning, and then wake up at 7 in the morning, and it's like, I don't think you're being 100% honest. And for me, the problem with that is then people who want to kind of be like you, they think that this is how you should feel the whole time, that you should always feel motivated, that you should always feel. It doesn't happen, you need to motivate yourself a lot. Like
Mm.
okay, example, like Thursday, I was feeling on top of the world, really happy with what I was doing. And then on Friday, I really felt really, really low. And I didn't really have reasons to, but I just felt very, very down. And, I think the whole world needs to kind of realize is that you are not alone going through this. And, to the point of the anxiety as well, it's a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do this, I have anxiety. And it's like, you're absolutely right, but everyone has anxiety. Now, you kind of need to see can you battle through it? Can you push through it? Or are you just always going to try and be the victim? Because if you're going to always
Yeah,
try and be a victim, it's really not going to work out for you. And
not at all. I think for
being
me
the victim is
personally,
terrible.
I think like I've been struggling with anxiety, and I have this a motto that I really enjoy hearing. Like if you tell yourself you can't, you're right. If you tell yourself you can, you're right. You see where I'm going?
Mm.
So
Yeah,
it's all
yeah,
about
exactly.
it's all about how you perceive. I'm like, I've said to myself a million times, like, I cannot do this. This. We make so many excuses as to why we can't do specific things. But at the same time, if you like change the psychology on that, then you'll be like, I can do this because this, and then you like pinpoint yourself towards where you actually want to go, no matter what it is. Then you actually start over time. And like you say, it's not every day. Some days I'm really depressed. Let's say I'm really depressed. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to act, etc. And other days I'm super energetic, and people are like, "You're not introvert at all," which I
Yeah.
get. But every day is a new challenge to just put yourself out there. You don't have to. I think like people should take it as a grain of salt. Like
Mm.
sometimes you just take the entire canister of salt and you just be like, yo, this day is my day, and I'll just take the entire box. But other days you just have to be like, today we'll just just make a nuance and just take a pinch of salt, like.